What's shaking, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more VCMG. And once again, I wanted to give a shout out to Han Solo, not only for bringing this project to my attention, but for sending me or giving me access to the album. Actually, he did send me that one. That was through email. But yeah, regardless, we're up to the third tune in the album. It's from 2012, Vince Clarke, Martin Gore, or Vince Martin, I should say, and Martin Gore. But yeah, and I was highly amused. Han Solo was suggesting that, there's at least a suggestion that Vince took the surname Clarke as his professional name because when he was first getting started and first about to, hit the scene with Depeche Mode, he was actually getting a subsidy or some sort of public funds for unemployment. And he was worried that if his full name was out there, that some auditor from the government would be like, oh, wait a minute, you're making music and you're making money. No. So yeah, I was highly amused by that. But yeah, apparently they reconnected, and then over the internet. I don't believe they were actually in the studio together. At least that's I think what Han Solo said. Correct me if I'm remembering that wrong. But that they basically sent tracks back and forth, collaborated over the internet, which a lot of techno people do that. They're in different countries, but they'll still put out a lot of tunes together. So yeah, very much part and parcel to the way that techno is made. And indeed, I now understand that this is a techno record. It's two producers famous for their synth pop going a little more full proper techno. So I'm very excited by that. And yeah, the third tune is called Spock, which, okay, I'm at some point going to be reacting to some Leonard Nimoy and then some Shatner that Han Solo has also made available to me. So yeah, when I think of the name Spock, I mean, it's hard not to think of Nimoy, and the character obviously been played by a couple of different actors in different contexts, or different, let's say, iterations of the franchise, but I'm not really aware of another usage of the name Spock, so my initial inclination would be think maybe this will be a techno tune that is sort of otherworldly and sort of extraterrestrial sounding, maybe exotic in terms of, it sounds like it comes from another planet, because, Spock is a Vulcan, despite looking like a human. He is actually an extraterrestrial from another planet, so yeah, that would be my suggestion out of the gate, but, I feel like on a techno track, titles don't always relate to the sonics of what you hear. Sometimes they do, or sometimes, it's a direct quote of one of the samples, and maybe that has sort of a conceptual, cachet, and then it's so it's not so much describing the sonics, but it's capturing the sort of attitude of the tune. But yeah, so it may not have anything to do with Spock the character specifically, but again, outside of Star Trek, I don't really know a relevance of the name Spock. So let's get it. This is VCMG. The tune is Spock, and it's from the album from 2012, which is on mute. Down. The elasticity of that. That little pause, electric slide. It's very psytrance. Oh yes, extra bass layer. Very electric. message, it's not configured to process. Sorry, that's an alien like sound wave. Also very alien tractor beamish. Dark, almost like submarine. Without a clap, it's very like lots of little layers. Little metallic riff. Again, that sort of dead pause, that shift right there, feels kind of like techno. Somewhere in the Venn diagram between techno and psytrance. Like tech trance. Wow, wow. It's a great groove. Wow, wow. I love that. Yeah. Sort of creaking metallic. It's only like a year ago I'd be listening to techno, like proper techno by Clarke and Gore. I'd be like, what? Sure they're not. And here we are. Very tech transy. And it feels like if we're not underwater, we're like on the shore. Fantastic. It's like, again, in techno, you don't really get fade out endings. Like, I suppose there's probably some tracks. I actually am thinking of like this really old school track that's like 20 minutes long, and when it gets to the end, it really does like fade out. But yeah, in the world of techno, even going back, generally speaking, fade out endings are not a thing. It ends in one way or another, even if it's like just a final like, cymbal crash that then sort of fades. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. I was wondering, if it was going to come back for one more, maybe stripped down, like final kind of outro. But yeah, I enjoyed that. That was fantastic. Again, it's sort of like, kind of like subterranean, if not submarine techno. It's kind of, like in the dark, like, eyes on the dance floor, kind of just grooving to the dark sounds. But yeah, there were several different elements that I really enjoyed. The kind of like that bass flourish, the like kind of laser like shot, the like creaking synth, a couple like metallic sort of like percussive rhythms. Basically a lot of great ingredients. As with a lot of techno, it's not just music with lyrics, electronic music, acid trance, acid techno, even hardcore, which I know for some people, maybe it doesn't seem to have a lot of subtlety, although I do listen to some styles that are like specifically like atmospheric and like creative. They're not just head smashing. But yeah, it usually takes me a few listens to kind of digest a tune, to hear the different parts, to kind of like begin thinking about the way the structure plays out. Is it sort of like, more or less standard, or are there idiosyncratic moments that are actually like measure breaking, so that as a DJ you need to kind of wait before you like start like lining up the measures, because there's something that, like, you know, it's between the 32s for like a 4 beat, and then, you know, if you were mixing in from the first 32, suddenly they're not synced up anymore. So yeah, like even when there's not lyrics, I do often listen to a tune multiple times before it really begins to sink in. But do let me know what you think of this track. Big ups to Vince, big ups to Martin, shout out to Han Solo. I really do appreciate you, you know, bringing this to my attention and certainly sharing. Yeah, like I said, there's some champions of the channel that, you know, are sharing music, offering insight, you know, commenting on the videos, like, you know, helping generate interest in the channel. So bottom line, appreciate you all. Han Solo, shout out to you. Do let me know what you think of this. I will see you next time. Peace.